if someone comes to us who's received a statutory demand, because we obviously act for both sides, then, the advice would obviously be quite different. It might be, unless there's a defect with the statutory demand notice or there's a genuine dispute about the debt, unless there's some sort of defence available under the legislation, in particular to our client, then, quite often the client's really looking at having to pay that money or face the reality that they're going to lose their company, lose their business that's attached to the company.
I think, it brings very serious consequences. So first of all, I tell clients, make sure that your registered office is up to date, okay? Because statutory demand goes out, but it goes to an old address. You say you've never received it. Well, tough luck, okay? So I think, first of all...
Great advice, by the way.
Yeah, so first of all, I think registered office, something so simple, okay? And I think...
With ASIC, A registered office is with ASIC.
Yes. So, that's to start with. And then second of all, when at the time of advising clients in respect of the issuance of a statutory demand, they've done the right thing, they've carried out the works, no response is forthcoming. I think a statutory demand is a really good way to put the pressure on the other party. If they receive a statutory demand, they have to either pay, it either gets withdrawn by consent, or alternatively, it's whoever received the statutory demand, it's up to them to go off to the Supreme Court, make an application to have it set aside on an alleged genuine dispute. But, to make the application themselves, it will cost minimum $15,000. So then you really force the other side, or whoever owes the money, to really think, well, am I going to spend $15,000, make an application to the court to have an argument? Or am I better off engaging negotiations and coming to an agreement?
Yeah, I like that approach, Rodrigo. I think it's really sensible. And we need more lawyers giving pragmatic, sensible advice. And I've got a very big focus on trying to minimise costs for anyone where it's possible. It's not always possible because the law is a complicated thing and the justice system is as well. So, but I know certainly where we can, we'll definitely encourage clients to minimise their costs and help themselves. And I know you probably take the same approach, don't you, Rodrigo?
Yeah, I do. And where do you draw the line as to whether you think it's worth pursuing through the courts, or where do you tell your client, you know what, just write it off and move on?
It's case by case. There's no real exact answer to that question. Some clients have the ability to fund a matter, some just don't. Some have a higher risk appetite, some just don't. And this is more of a personality thing. And it's also can come down to experience. Some people have got a lot of experience in the justice system and they know exactly how it can go pear-shaped, get very expensive. And so they might make a commercial decision based on their business acumen, especially when it comes to financial matters like just debts and recovering money. These cases shouldn't be fueled by emotion. We're not talking about you're arguing over intellectual property rights that would destroy your business, or you're not arguing over potentially someone's valuable item that they're trying to recover, which is priceless antique that they got from their ancestors, or I'm giving strange examples, but there's some things that are worth litigating over, so you have no choice. Money is always optional because if you have a job, you have a business, you can still make money. You can make more money in the future. So you need to think about the utility of engaging lawyers and what exactly you're going to get out of it. So when you talk to your lawyers, ask them to do the breakdown of the maths on it. You can do the maths. What is it going to cost you? What are you recovering? Is there any assets there? You could pay your lawyers to do some asset checks. You could do them yourself. There's a lot of checks you can do online. Skip tracing. Not everything is revealed. A lot of stuff's private, trusts and stuff, but there are some things you can check. And you then need to measure up, what is my risk appetite? What am I prepared to invest? What am I prepared to lose?